November 1923, Leipzig. The air doesn't just feel cold, it feels sharp, like a blade. 10 degrees below zero. On the very same street, during the very same winter, two neighbors are living two fundamentally different realities. The first is Johann. Johann is the embodiment of the European dream. He spent 15 years in the most elite institutions of the continent. First, the Leipzig Conservatory, then Vienna, then the grand halls of Paris. He has been applauded by kings and critics. His records have crossed borders, and his name has graced the headlines of every major newspaper. He is, by all accounts, one of the most gifted concert pianists of his generation. He dresses like a diplomat. He speaks with the cadence of a scholar. He guards his hands with a religious intensity, wrapping them in silk, avoiding even the slightest physical labor. Because those hands, they are his fortune. Or so he believed. The second neighbor is Kurt. Kurt never finished school. When his father fell ill, Kurt had to drop out at the age of 14 to keep his family from starving. He started as an apprentice to his uncle, a man who worked in the guts of buildings. Kurt learned how to swing a heavy pipe wrench. He learned the language of steam, the pressure of heating boilers, and the hidden anatomy of city pipes. He crawled through dark, dusty attics to find leaks that no one else could see. He never stepped onto a stage. His name never appeared in print. His hands are cracked, permanently stained with oil and soot. His face is pale from the lack of sunlight. Society didn't look at Kurt with respect. They looked through him. He was just part of the background noise of the city. Today, in the winter of 1923, if you want to find Johann, don't go to the concert hall. The lights are out. The stage is cold. You will find Johann in the bread line. He is standing there, a man of 15 years of elite education, begging for a single crust of bread. He is realizing, in the most brutal way possible, that his wealth was a ghost. And Kurt? Kurt is at home. He is sitting at his wooden table. He is eating a hot meal. He has work tomorrow. He has work the day after. Because even in the middle of a national collapse, the pipes still leak. The buildings still need heat. Most people hear this and think, it's just the old blue-collar versus white-collar debate, a cliché. It's not. This is the manifestation of a truth that repeats itself at every major breaking point in human history. And unless you understand the architecture of this truth, the decisions you are making today, the degrees you are chasing and the titles you are protecting, might turn you into Johann tomorrow. Let's dismantle the illusion. Meet Mark. He's 28. Mark has the golden ticket, a diploma from a top-tier university, 4 years of grueling law school, 2 bar exams, 3 years at a prestigious firm. His business card carries the weight of a century of tradition, attorney at law. Mark was his family's pride. His LinkedIn was a masterpiece of corporate compliance. He followed the script perfectly. And then, the unthinkable happened. The economy didn't just slow down, it fractured. The law firm temporarily shuttered. Mark did what he was taught. He updated his CV, he sent the emails, he made the calls. Silence. For the first time in his life, the world didn't want him. It's not that his skills weren't real. He knew how to draft ironclad contracts. He knew how to win in a courtroom. But there was a catch he never considered. His skills only had value while the system was running. There is a secret your professors, your parents, and your career counselors never mentioned. Diplomas are derivative assets. In the world of finance, a derivative has no intrinsic value. It derives its value from an underlying asset. A stock option is worth a fortune, as long as the company exists. If the company vanishes, the option is literally a zero. A bond is a promise, as long as the state has the power to tax and pay. If the state defaults, that bond is just a piece of paper for starting a fire. Your diploma is a derivative of the status quo. Harvard cannot give you an MBA that functions when the corporate banking system is paralyzed. The Bar Association cannot give you a license that carries weight when the courts are locked. Your CFA certificate is a paperweight when the markets freeze. The value of your degree is tethered to the health of the institution that issued it. If the system is online, you are a king. If the system slows down, your value drops. If the system shuts down, do you evaporate with it? December 2001, Argentina. The country defaulted on $93 billion in debt. The banks froze all accounts, the Corralito. People saw their life savings disappear into the digital ether in a single afternoon. The middle class was decimated. But in the middle of this carnage, there was a man named Diego. Diego was a mechanic. Before the crisis, he was nobody. He lived in greasy overalls. He had no prestige. His neighbors, the accountants and the managers, looked down on him. But when the collapse hit, Diego's garage became the most important place in the neighborhood. Why? Because the dream of the new car was dead. No one could buy a 2002 model. They had to keep their 1995 engines running for another decade. Diego became the gatekeeper of mobility. Nassim Taleb calls this antifragility. Something is fragile if it breaks under stress, like Johann's piano career. Something is robust if it resists stress, like a block of stone. But something is antifragile if it actually grows and thrives because of the stress. Repair is antifragile. When the economy is booming, people buy new things. When the economy crashes, they must repair what they have. Diego didn't need to predict the crash. He was long on chaos. In the hyperinflation of the Weimar Republic, money died. By the time you finished your shift, your wages couldn't buy a loaf of bread. In this world, the smartest people didn't look for more marks. They looked for currency translation. They realized that a plumber's skill wasn't just fixing pipes. It was a universal currency. A plumber could translate his labor into eggs, coal, or medicine. He didn't need the central bank to approve his transaction. This is the skill of the survivor, building a parallel value network. Look at Lebanon today. Look at Venezuela. While the official currency is a joke, the people who thrive are the ones who can translate value outside the system. They use gold. They use barter. They use crypto. They use physical commodities. If you don't know how to move value without a bank's permission, you are a prisoner of the system's health. 1992. The Soviet Union has vanished. Inflation is at 2,600%. The state has collapsed. People are hungry. But they didn't die. Why? Because of the Dachas. During the Soviet era, 71% of families had tiny garden plots. In 1992, these small patches of dirt produced 92% of Russia's potatoes. But here is the brutal distinction. The land didn't save them. The knowledge did. There were city dwellers who owned dachas but didn't know how to fertilize a soil or when to plant a seed. They had the asset, but they didn't have the utility. They went hungry just like the people in the apartments. Owning the asset is not enough. You must possess the knowledge to activate that asset. Let's do the real math. Mark spent $200,000 on his education. He spent 7 years of his life in classrooms. His starting salary was high, but his fragility was total. He was 100% dependent on a functioning legal system, a stable currency, and a corporate client base. Kurt spent $0 on his education. He earned while he learned. His salary started lower, but his resilience was absolute. As long as humans live in buildings, Kurt has a job. The real cost of Mark's diploma wasn't the tuition. It was the opportunity cost of his freedom. If the system stops, Mark is a stranded asset. If the system stops, Kurt is the central authority. Which skills are system-dependent? Corporate strategy, digital marketing for big tech, HR management, investment banking, legal compliance. Which skills are system-independent? Basic trauma medicine, electrical and mechanical repair, food production and storage, water purification, negotiation and barter, small-scale energy management. You don't have to quit your job. You just need to stop being a single point of failure human being. Step 1. The dependency audit. Look at your bank account, your resume, and your daily life. If the internet goes dark for a week, do you have a way to generate value? If not, you are in the red zone. Step 2. 2 hours of primal labor. Spend 2 hours a week learning a skill that doesn't require a screen. Learn how to fix a circuit breaker. Learn how to preserve food. Learn how to treat a wound. These are your hard assets. Step 3. Master currency translation. Learn the plumbing of the financial world. How do you move value into gold? How do you use decentralized finance? How do you trade value for value when the paper money is failing? Johann was a master of the piano. But the piano required a stage. The stage required a hall. The hall required a functioning civilization. When the system shut down, Johann's genius became a ghost. Kurt had a pipe wrench. And water. Water flows in every winter. It flows through government collapses. It flows through hyperinflation. It flows through wars. Because water is a fundamental human necessity. Today, in 2026, we are watching the system become more complex and more fragile. AI is replacing the paper shufflers. Banks are becoming more centralized. The system is closing. The question isn't how much money you have in the bank. The question is, if the system shuts down, do you shut down too? True freedom is not a portfolio. It is non-dependency. I'm Orven, and this is not a channel. This is a strategy.